Have you ever wondered about the significance of a burning bush that doesn't get consumed? Let's journey together back to the setting of Exodus chapter 3. Picture this. Moses, a humble shepherd, is tending to the flock of his father-in-law, Jethro. He's out in the wilderness, the vast expanse of desert stretching out around him, the bleating of the sheep, the only sound piercing the silence. Suddenly, an unusual sight grabs Moses' attention. A bush ablaze. But this is no ordinary fire. This bush, engulfed in flames, is not burning up. It's not being consumed by the fire that wraps around its branches. It's a sight that defies logic, a spectacle that challenges understanding. It's a phenomenon that piques Moses' curiosity, pulling him like a magnet towards it. Can you imagine Moses' astonishment as he approaches this burning yet unharmed bush? The flames dance, casting an ethereal glow, but the bush remains untouched, unscathed. It's as if the fire is a mere illusion, a trick of the light, yet the warmth radiating from it tells a different story. As Moses draws nearer, a voice resonates from within the burning bush, the voice of God himself, a voice ringing with authority and filled with warmth, calling out to Moses. He instructs Moses to remove his sandals, for the ground upon which he stands is holy. This isn't just any patch of desert sand, this is sacred ground. It's a space where the divine meets the earthly, where the eternal touches the temporal. It's a place that has been set apart and marked by God's presence. The burning bush encounter is a pivotal moment in Moses' life, a divine appointment that would forever change his trajectory. This encounter isn't just about a bush that defies the laws of nature. It's about a man being called into a divine mission, about the intersection of the human and the divine. This divine encounter sets the stage for a mission that would change the course of history. What if you were chosen by God for a monumental task? Picture yourself in Moses' sandals, standing barefoot on holy ground. The divine presence manifests itself in a burning bush, and from the flames God introduces himself. He is not a new deity, but the God of his ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. A God who, despite the passage of centuries, hasn't forgotten his people or his promises. Now imagine the weight of the words that follow. God reveals his plan to deliver the Israelites from the iron chains of Egyptian oppression. Not by divine intervention alone, but through a human agent. Moses, a humble shepherd, is appointed as the leader of this mission. A monumental task indeed. Moses, like any of us, is filled with hesitation and self-doubt. He questions his worthiness, his abilities, and even his eloquence. But God, in his infinite wisdom and compassion, reassures Moses. He promises to be with him, to guide him, and to give him the words to say. He even promises to equip him with miraculous signs to validate his divine commission. Moses' task was indeed daunting, but his doubts and fears were not ignored. God provided reassurance and support, confirming that Moses was not simply chosen, but also equipped for the task at hand. Despite his doubts, Moses was not alone in this mission, for he had the backing of the Almighty. Have you ever pondered the meaning behind the name, I am who I am? This is how God introduced himself to Moses when asked about his name. It's a profound declaration that God is self-existent, uncreated, and eternal. This name, often rendered as Yahweh in Hebrew, carries within it the assurance of God's timeless existence. In the ancient world, names held significant meaning. They weren't just labels, but rather they revealed something about the essence of the individual. So when God reveals his name as I am who I am, he is saying something profound about his nature. He is the one who simply is, who exists in and of himself, independent of anything else. This divine name held significant implications for the Israelites. It was a promise, a beacon of hope in their struggle for freedom. It was the assurance that the God who spoke to Moses from the burning bush was the same God who had been with their ancestors and would be with them always. This was a God who was not distant or uncaring, but rather deeply involved in the affairs of his people, committed to their deliverance. Thus, in revealing his name, God gave Moses and the Israelites a promise, the promise of his unwavering presence and enduring faithfulness. In the midst of their struggles, they were not alone. God was, is, and always will be with them.